Today, let's talk about how we get our school day started. Welcome to this House of Wolves. My name is Ashley, and here I love to share all things secular homeschooling. So, I know lots of homeschool families start their days very differently. We started last year incorporating something that we just kind of named our morning meeting. And that is just, we are all ready for the day. We've had breakfast, we've brushed our teeth, we've gotten semi-cleaned up, and we have come into our school space to start our learning. My kids have a pretty big age gap. They're 4 years between them. So most of their schooling is done separately, which is fine. But I love having the first thing in the morning, having our family come together, go over a couple of things, do a couple little things before we go off and do our individual learning. So this is not a rigid schedule at all. We are flexible and can move things around, but it's nice having this kind of idea of how our days could go if that's how our week is going to go. I'm going to take a sip of coffee, put this down, and then we'll kind of get into what I have planned. I will put a picture up here of what I have in my planner. If you missed a whole flip through of my planner, that will be linked down below. But this is how I have it laid out. And like I said, we don't have to stick to this. We can absolutely set these things aside and get into holiday units, or if there's some other thing that we really want to do, we can do that. This is just my little guideline to help me organize my thoughts and plans for kind of those typical school weeks. So you can see we only school 4 days a week. That is just what works best for us. Once September hits, we will be doing our co-op again. And so that really takes a chunk of a day. So we only school 4 days a week. Even at the beginning of our school year, before our co-op starts back up, we will continue that schedule, and it just gives us that flexibility that we could take like a 3-day weekend and not feel like every single day has to be schoolwork, and that we can do field trips and park days and whatever else we want to incorporate. So let's just go through the day-to-day thing. So on Mondays, now on the little picture that I put up, I did label it like days of the week. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I do like day 1, day 2, day 3, so on. So let's just say Monday is our journal. So we started these last year, and these are just our little journals. Nobody else can look in our journals. It's just for our eyes. We set a timer. Usually it's about 3 minutes. This year we might try to increase that, maybe up to like 5 or so minutes. And we just write. We can doodle, we can write, we can make lists. Whatever inspires us to put pen to paper goes in here. And I have really enjoyed doing this. I even have one. Sometimes I sit down and do it with my kids. Sometimes I don't. It depends if I'm still having to like set a couple things up quickly. But I do try to sit down and do the journaling with them. All right, Tuesday is test prep. We do not do a lot of tests in our school other than like spelling or math. We just like to learn and show that we have understood and comprehended what we've done. But I do see that there is a need that my kids should understand how to take a test. Like, how do I read some information and answer multiple choice questions, or even more like open-ended questions. So I bought these little test prep books. So I have grade 5, and then I have also grade 8. Yes, my son is going into 9th grade, but we had this from last year. He did like 1 or 2 little things in it, maybe just like 1. And then we just didn't have space for it in our schedule, but I would like him to know these kinds of skills, so we're just going to use the grade 8, and that is fine. So you'll see here, it really talks about how to read directions, read all the answers, preview the questions, using your time wisely, think before you switch your answers, make an educated guess. If you're not sure, try to pick the best one, fill in the blanks, and look for clue words. So all things that I think are very good to have. So you can see here as an example, reading a little paragraph and then answering some questions with it. They do also have at the bottom where you can fill in the bubbles. Again, all good practice. So I have for both of my kids, and so we'll just slowly work our way through these. I don't have like a set time that I would like to finish these by, but I think it will be some good practice. So for our Wednesday, we have our time capsule. So this is like a little time capsule book. I bought these quite a few years ago, 2023, when I thought that we were going to be doing the Guest Hollow Complete Language Arts curriculum, and then we didn't, and now we are only using the Beowulf's Grammar. That's fine. I held on to these, and we pulled these out this spring and started filling them out again, and they're a lot of fun. Let me see if I can show some pages. Again, I don't want to show pages that my kids have already done, because it's just their eyes. They can sit here and do what they want, but some just kind of open-ended prompts that they can do. Here's another one. Some little questions that they can answer. And so it's just a lot of fun to kind of go through these and get their brains kind of ready for the school day. All right, and then our Friday or Thursday, whatever our fourth day of the week is, we are going to be doing two things. So every other week, we're going to be swapping it. One week, we're going to be doing logic, and the other week, we're going to be kind of trying to bring in some critical thinking. Now, I have talked about this a lot on my Instagram and my stories. I am saving all of them into a little bubble. So if you follow me on Instagram and you missed those, go check that out. If you don't follow me on Instagram, it's linked down below. Go follow if you are interested. I do have my Instagram pretty locked down. So if I don't accept it, send me a little message and say, hey, I'm coming over from YouTube. I want to see what you have. And just let me know you're not like a creeper. All right, so let's go over what we have for logic. I have a couple of resources. So this just came in, and this is Myrtle Jr. Curious Crimes for Curious Minds. Solve your way through 40 puzzle mysteries. So this looks like it will be a lot of fun to go through. I just got one because I figure, at least in the beginning, we're going to kind of work through these together. If my kids would like separate kind of logic puzzle books, then I will get them separate ones. But I'm planning in the beginning, we'll just go through these together. I have a couple different highlights. These are books, not the magazines, but this one is Brain Play, Trickiest Puzzles Ever. So just, you know, like the typical highlights magazine puzzles, but all in one book. And then this one too, this is the Ultimate Puzzle Challenge. So, same kind of setup. These I will probably give like one to a kid at a time. They can swap, whatever, and then they can go through these logic puzzles. I also have some logic games that I'm going to be pulling out. So this one I just bought and I'm really excited. I really like this company. And I have a couple other ones that I want to buy later on in the year. So first we have Invasion of the Cow Snatchers. So you are the alien spaceship and trying to work your way around a farm to take the cows, which I think is super cute. We have this game called The Uzzle. This was a Christmas present this year, and it was a lot of fun to play this. So I'm really excited to have like a set time in our week to sit down and play some games. And then another just really easy one is called Spot It. This, you have all these little pictures on cards, and if you spot one that matches what you already have, you can take that card. It's a lot of fun. I have a lot more games. These are just ones that I pulled out as of right now to show in this video. But I'm really excited to be incorporating some of these games. I think it will be a lot of fun and a great way to start our morning. So that's how we're bringing in logic on that fourth day of school. Now, how are we going to bring in some critical thinking? That was a little bit more challenging. I am still kind of playing around with some things. I am possibly going to get the Julie Bogart Raising Critical Thinkers book and reading through that on my own to just help guide my kids into critical thinking. But how we are going to start our school year is watching some news and reading some news articles. So this is just a little worksheet that is put out by Homeschool Bel Air. She's here on YouTube and Instagram. And then this is for free on her Teachers Pay Teachers. So we are just going to pull up some news articles, either local or statewide or nationwide or worldwide, and fill this out. I really like how this is laid out, where you're really breaking down a news article. So you have the who, what, where, and then this is how and when. So it just gets them to read the article and take the information out of it. So I'm really excited to be incorporating this, and we can really pull in, how to read news sources, how to know if they're accurate, things like that. All right, I will put the picture up here again. So you can see that's not everything that we will be doing every day. I do have that extra row where we have extra things that we can bring in. These are things if we have holidays or we're reading through some reference books, anything like that we just want to bring in some extra stuff. So here's what I have as some examples. I have picture books. You can see I have a whole stack. A lot of those are ones that my kids have outgrown, but I am still nostalgic in them. And I think that there's still so much to be had by picture books. I absolutely love them. So these are more of kinds of seasonal ones. We read this one at the beginning of every school year. This is my home. This is my school. Just a little homeschooling story. And then during Christmas and the holidays, we'll read How the Grinch Stole Christmas. In the spring, during Easter, I have this Jan Brett, The Easter Egg book. And then we also love these to celebrate the changing of the seasons. So I have Goodbye Winter, Hello Spring. I also have reference books. We do this a lot where we just pull any of these like history or science reference books that we aren't necessarily using at that time, but they're still really cool. And so we just slowly go through and read a couple pages every day. The one that I want to start our school year with is this really cool book. I bought this a couple of years ago, and we just haven't used it as much as I was hoping. So we're going to read it from front to back. This is Women in Science, 50 Fearless Pioneers Who Changed the World. So you can see on the inside, like each scientist just has a page or two. And so we'll go through a couple of these every time that we read it and read through it. I also have this book that I pulled back out at the beginning of the year, and I had read it with my kids a few years ago, but they were quite a bit younger. I think at that point they were kindergarten and fourth grade, so they kind of remember some of the stories, but not all of them. But it's fun to go back through it. So we have a year full of stories. So this is 52 folk tales and legends from around the world. I love these books. I think that they're so pretty and just kind of fun to go through. And so we'll pick this back up and continue throughout the rest of the school year. I also listed art. We love doing some art. I have Blossom and Root art that we will be pulling into this and just doing different artist studies. We also like to just find little art tutorials on YouTube and go through those. Anything to just get my kids' creative juices flowing at the beginning of the day is fantastic. All right, so that is how we start our day with our morning meeting. Like I said, it's just a fun way to bring us all together and start our day. Let me know down in the comments if you have any extra questions, or leave me your favorite emoji right now. And then as always, if you like this or any other video that I post here on this channel, make sure to like and subscribe down below, and I will be back for more soon.